ignoring what was said and being happy that the athlete at least interacted with the fan. Folks, we have Grant Young of Sports Illustrated come out and tell us, hey, don't worry about what Tiffany Hayes said to the fan. Don't worry about Tiffany Hayes condoning violence. Don't worry about Tiffany Hayes encouraging fans to take arms against CC. Don't worry about any of that. We should be happy that she's at least interacting with fans to begin with.
Everything you thought you knew about the WNBA, about how sports media asterisk should cover its biggest stars, is about to be shattered. Because right now, there is a terrifying, highly coordinated, and frankly, disgusting effort underway to completely normalize the physical and psychological abuse of Caitlin Clark. And the mainstream sports media, they're not just watching. They are actively operating as the PR firm for the bullies, the gatekeepers, and everyone determined to keep Clark down. For weeks, we've watched the WNBA establishment desperately try to gaslight you asterisk, the paying consumer, into believing that the extreme, undeniable hostility directed at the Indiana Fever and their generational talent is just standard competitive basketball. But when a grown professional athlete openly endorses a premeditated threat of off-court violence, and the so-called journalists in the mainstream media explicitly shift their focus to a secondary, trivial story to protect their establishment buddies, the absolute, undeniable corruption of the WNBA press corps is completely, shamefully exposed for the entire world to see.
Engaging with fans on social media about her recent Caitlin Clark back and forth is exactly why the WNBA feels different from the others.
And here's the kicker. The latest, most glaring example of this institutional failure comes directly from Sports Illustrated. Their recent coverage choice isn't just a mistake. It's a crystal-clear, irrefutable blueprint for how mainstream media keeps getting the Caitlin Clark story fundamentally, catastrophically wrong. We're seamlessly blending the explosive rage of a fan base demanding basic player safety with the cold, hard, indisputable corporate facts these outlets desperately try to bury. If you thought the WNBA league office was the only asterisk entity paralyzed by identity politics and a desperate need to control the narrative, then I'm telling you, you need to radically recalibrate your reality. We are about to break down, in excruciating detail, how Sports Illustrated completely missed the mark, expose the terrifying hypocrisy embedded deep within their coverage, and reveal precisely why you asterisk, the paying consumer, are officially bypassing the traditional press to demand absolute accountability. It's time to dismantle the unapologetic media gaslighting happening right in front of our eyes.
Yesterday, Tiff Hayes was talking with fans about her interaction with Caitlin Clark during the Fever and Joffrey's recent game. While some fans are upset about what she said, I think it's her speaking in the first place that's more interesting.
Sports Illustrated, everybody. Sports Illustrated, everybody.
Here's where it gets absolutely wild. Sports Illustrated, once synonymous with groundbreaking journalism, just published a major article about the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. But instead of tackling the glaring question the entire basketball internet was screaming about, they pivoted. They wrote about something else entirely. While fans demanded answers about Tiffany Hayes' disturbing social media activity, specifically, whether the WNBA's no space for hate policy applies to a player who appeared to openly laugh at content implying physical harm toward Clark. SI's staff writer, Emma Bacaleary, focused her energy on a different, less controversial story. Her piece, why the WNBA asterisk could asterisk fine the Indiana Fever for how they handled Clark's late scratch before a Portland game. Think about that. Not why the WNBA should investigate a player violating a safety policy. Not why Hayes' interaction, which sparked outrage across millions of accounts, deserves scrutiny under the exact same standard the league applied when investigating alleged racist behavior toward Angel Reese. No, the Fever's injury report took center stage. And here's the kicker. The Hayes situation was generating more social media activity, more fan engagement, more outrage than any WNBA story since the season began. The basketball internet, the real fans, they noticed this blatant, deliberate misdirection.
Wow.
I think that criticism is fair, but I also think WNBA fans often forget the amount of access we have to players through social media is unparalleled compared to other sports, especially on X and Threads. Pretty much every day, some players...
Okay, the article wasn't about the players. The article was not about the players. The article was about fans, content creators. This is a nice spin right here, Grant. This is a nice spin. This is a nice deflection. This is a nice steer of the narrative. wrong you are.
Players are commenting or interacting with fans.
Let me be incredibly specific about what Sports Illustrated Asterisk did publish, and more importantly, what they deliberately chose Asterisk not Asterisk to publish, because precision is critical when discussing player safety and league accountability. Emma Bacaleri's piece on the Fever's injury report was legitimate reporting. The WNBA's injury reporting rules, potential fines, and Clark's chronic back condition were all real and deserved coverage. We even covered it ourselves. None of Asterisk that Asterisk reporting is the problem. The Asterisk real Asterisk problem, the gaping journalistic void, is what was happening simultaneously in the same news cycle, with the same resources that SI simply refused to address with equal energy. While SI penned their piece, the Tiffany Hayes social media situation was exploding, generating massive engagement. A kick at Asterisk already reached out to the WNBA, asking specific questions about whether the no space for hate policy applied. A screenshot of Hayes apparently laughing at content implying harm toward Clark had spread to millions of accounts, with multiple major media personalities covering it. And Sports Illustrated, they were focused on an injury report fine. That, my friends, is not a coincidence. It is a deliberate, calculated coverage choice by editors and writers about which story to amplify and which to minimize, protecting certain interests. This consistent decision by mainstream sports media to avoid anything uncomfortable about Clark's treatment is precisely what her fanbase has been furiously responding to for 3 agonizing years.
I disagree, only if it's kept professional and very light, not what these players immaturely are doing. Agreed. Fan interaction with players is not a big deal. It's what are you doing during the interaction? Is it playful banter? Or are we condoning violence against a player that embarrassed us in front of a stage? I don't understand why a lot of you guys are acting so dense. The problem is not that the fans are crazy. You cannot police that. The problem is having players give approval about the crazy things fans are saying, like insinuating acts of violence against other players. They're acting so dense because they get paid to act dense. Nerd beast.
But wait, it gets worse. Nobody is talking about the specific, undeniable pattern of Sports Illustrated's Clark coverage over the last season. Let me document it for you. SI has covered Clark's back injury extensively, the injury reporting fine extensively, and the Fever's roster decisions and Stephanie White's coaching extensively, often critically. They've been incredibly thorough, covering anything that can be framed as criticism of Clark's situation, her team's management, or the Fever organization. But here's the insidious part. Coverage of Asterisk external actors being hostile to Clark, whether that's the WNBA's inexplicable graphic snub or the Tiffany Hayes social media situation, consistently receives a mere asterisk fraction of the same energy, resources, or journalistic rigor. It's a tale of 2 narratives, meticulously crafted to either criticize Clark or brush aside the blatant mistreatment she faces. Let's rewind to the WNBA graphic snub, a moment that perfectly encapsulated the league's petty Bush League behavior. Remember when the WNBA used Raven Johnson and Zia Cook to promote a nationally televised Fever game instead of Caitlin Clark? That wasn't just an oversight. That was a deliberate slap in the face. Outkick, Fox Sports, Barstool, and dozens of independent media accounts tore into it, exposing the absurdity. Dave Portnoy wrote about it. Bobby Burak at Outkick declared the WNBA looked Bush League, petty, and toxic, stating, burying your biggest star because of resentment is not just unappealing. Strong language, strong coverage, demanding accountability. And Sports Illustrated, while the entire sports world dissected this egregious snub, they covered the Fever's roster moves that day. See the pattern. They'll cover internal mechanics, things framed as the Fever's fault, but when it's the asterisk league asterisk or other players showing hostility, it's a whisper, not a shout. Now don't get me wrong, Sports Illustrated as asterisk published positive Clark coverage. They covered her Indy 500 Grand Marshal appearance and her dominance in the Storm win. They have writers genuinely engaged with women's basketball who do real reporting. WNBA Pro isn't claiming SI is a monolith of Clark negativity. That would be inaccurate. But here's the crucial thing. The asterisk pattern of which Clark's stories get prioritized, amplified, or minimized is not just real. It is meticulously documented. And the asterisk deliberate choice to write about finding the Fever for an injury report on the asterisk exact same day, the Tiffany Hayes social media situation was undeniably the biggest, most controversial story in the sport, is not just another example of that pattern. It is the latest, clearest, most infuriating illustration of what's truly going on. Stay with me, because what comes next makes everything clear and reveals why this media coverage gap matters far beyond just Caitlin Clark herself. Here's the bigger picture, where the money and stakes are incredibly high. The WNBA is in its most important explosive growth period ever. We're talking unprecedented expansion. The league just grew its media deal from $2.2 billion to a staggering $3.1 billion, nearly $1 billion jump. New expansion teams are drawing fans, ratings are soaring, attendance is exploding, and the sport has achieved genuine mainstream cultural penetration for the first time. This isn't just about a few games, it's about legacy, about the future of an entire sport. In this critical moment, the media ecosystem isn't just reporting, it's actively shaping how fans understand what's happening, what the league truly values, who deserves protection, and most disturbingly, who does not. Follow the money, follow the narrative, and you'll see exactly why certain stories get pushed and others get buried. So when mainstream outlets consistently cover stories that frame Clark or the Fever negatively, highlighting their flaws, struggles, or organizational issues, while simultaneously downplaying, minimizing, or ignoring stories that raise uncomfortable questions about how Clark is treated by other players, the league, and even the media itself, they are sending an incredibly clear, damning message about which narratives are acceptable. This isn't always intentional in a grand conspiracy, or so they'd want you to believe. But the cumulative effect of hundreds of individual biased coverage decisions, made day after day, adds up to a glaring, undeniable pattern. A pattern that you asterisk, the fans, can see with perfect clarity, even if individual editors and writers, blinded by their own biases, pretend they can't. And get this insidious pattern, this journalistic malpractice, has not gone unnoticed by the people who matter most. It's the pattern that produced the explosive Nancy Lieberman response. The Hall of Famer herself saw the blatant disrespect, named it as jealousy and pettiness, and declared it on TMZ. It's the same pattern that produced Austin Rivers' viral video, where the former NBA player watched the circus unfold and called it the Caitlin Clark effect, being met with unbelievable ingratitude. And perhaps most damningly, it's the pattern that produced Clark's own asterisk comment at a business conference, where she, the victim, said the WNBA media creates narratives that are not 110% real. When Hall of Famers, former NBA players, and the player herself all independently reach the same devastating conclusion about media coverage, then the coverage has a fundamental, catastrophic problem. And Sports Illustrated writing about the Fever's injury reporting fine on the day when the asterisk real asterisk story, the asterisk actual asterisk journalistic imperative, was